forgot to hit the thing. Here we go. Hi and hello and welcome to episode 49 of Going Over. I, of course, am Fred Slow. Alongside me, Saleh Taylor. He's the Samoan Nightmare. He is for sale, and he is in Albuquerque because Hollywood wouldn't have him any longer. Saleh, welcome back to the show.
They wouldn't have me for now. I'm going back, actually. They're going to finish my scenes, man. Yeah. I'm excited.
You're so dumb famous. You're the most famous pro wrestler I've ever met. It's not true.
You should meet more.
Did you see The Rock got $9 million for WrestleMania?
So he paid himself $9 million.
So listen, K1, thanks for joining us on a Friday night. Time of the recording is Friday, October the 11th. We're doing a little past 9 o'clock. Kind of a fun one for us. So we here on terrestrially KNML here on the Sports Animal. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday morning. We've been bumped the last couple of weeks due to college football. So we were like, oh, I think we're whatever. So then Balloon Fiesta is in town, which, by the way, come to Albuquerque. Come and see the Balloon Fiesta. Like, make that part of your existence. It is the coolest thing ever, all time. But we found out today, they were like, hey, you put a show on tomorrow morning? We said, yes, we can. So we're capturing it on a Friday night. Also, a couple big announcements for Duke City Championship Wrestling. We'll go into link on those. Also, I spent last weekend with Hobo Hank down in Tampa at the NWA TV tapings. We're going to talk about that as well. Saleh, what's going on in your world as it relates to pro wrestling and entertainment?
The world is worlding right now, man. Actually, yeah, very much. No, the professional wrestling, a lot of things have been happening. I've been playing catch up lately because life's been lifing. But as far as entertainment, though, for those who don't know, I've been filming a new show. I'm going in and out of town, and I'm going back tomorrow to finish the rest of my scenes. I'm going to Portland. They're going to kill me off.
Yep,
I could say that much.
Had it coming.
Almost everyone in the show dies, and it's pretty cool. Spoiler, yes. They all have it coming. We all have it coming.
I was in Tampa last weekend before the hurricane hit. I saw some of the aftermath of Helene, who just came, and then Milton, who was coming. People are preparing for. I think it's important that we take a second and just say how fortunate we are to be here where we are and safe relatively, from Mother Nature's wrath. But it was a different experience down in Florida over the weekend where just constant bombardment. You know what I mean? Like you just and you wish the well for all those people. Difficult time, and for those who are affected, we feel for you, and for those that are assisting others, we root for you. Because it's just an incredibly difficult time down there in Florida. With one, then two, and I guess they're reporting today possibly a third hurricane coming from the exact same Gulf direction. So kind of crazy right now.
Our thoughts, and we're anything that we can do. There are programs out there that are helping, and there actually are people in this town in New Mexico that have opened their doors, and to my knowledge, some people have taken them up. So that's been really, really cool. Speaks to the heart of a lot of people here in New Mexico. So one of us hurts. We all hurt. So we're all helping out. And I love seeing that.
I will read from a press release today from Duke City Championship Wrestling. Are you ready?
Go ahead, man.
Duke City Championship Wrestling presents No Way Around at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Due to the massive hype surrounding this event, we had to make changes. Brute 66 has been moved to November the 21st. That's correct, Saleh. Our Halloween show has been moved to November the 21st. There's a little bit of a story behind this. I'll walk everyone through it here on air. So No Way Around will take place on Thursday, November 21st at the Rio Rancho Event Center. Because this night is this epic, we simply couldn't share it with Halloween. There was so much going on in the community, specifically as it relates to our venue, the Rio Rancho Event Center. They have their pumpkin patch stuff going on at that day. There was a world of other entertainment, and we wanted to make sure that individuals had the opportunity to experience this show as spectacularly as we believed we were going to present it. With that said, November 21st was our earliest opportunity to do so. So this Super Show is shaping up to be event of the season showdown that's been building for months. Hobo Hank will no longer be able to avoid Baba Thunder. Get ready for that. It's a real David versus Goliath. So Baba Thunder will be returning at No Way Around. Cannot miss this night. DCCWtickets.com. Keep in mind, if you purchase a ticket to Duke City Championship Wrestling, you are supporting me. I am in the ownership group. Keep in mind, always family friendly, but filled with action. It's intense. Please come and be a part of that with us. We would love to have you. So that's the update on what's going on with the holiday. And the Halloween was shaping up really, really well. But we had got some feedback, and just a little inside pro wrestling. We had originally slated to do our Halloween show downtown. That was our plan. We are going to be at the El Rey. We got a whole and we were going to try to grab, the nightlifers that exist down there and create a real fun themed one. Then we went out to Florida. So we go out to Florida, sit down, enjoy the NWA TV tapings, learn a lot, my friend. We'll talk at length about that. We learned a lot while out there. And we came back, and I came back to, I was gone. How many days was I in Florida? 4? I was in Florida 4 days. Nice. I come back, and I open up the social media. Brother, the inbox of the social media was, hey, hate it. Got to miss the show on Halloween. This obligation. Hate it. Kids, this thing, this party, this event, this commitment. And I said, this is too many people. I said, this is the number of people that we see at every show. You know what I mean? These are what do we draw? Several hundred. I think, we're always between 3 and 5, right around there. But if we draw 500, well, 200 of them are diehard wrestling fans. The other 300 are people that love to laugh, love to be entertained. So as I
live that love, yes,
they do that. They have that in their kitchen. I laugh at them. So as I'm looking at the inbox, I'm like, okay, if the 31st is tough, let's look at the 1st. That's tough for TV. Let's look at, we'll start grinding some dates. We thought we had the 14th lockdown. Didn't work out. State volleyball. We messed up.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, and you know me, because I can't interfere with youth athletics. Like in my heart, I get a weird thing. So we go back and forth with the Rio Rancho Event Center for some time. November the 21st is the first available date for everyone involved. So what are we going to do? We're going to +1 it. That's what we're going to do, because we don't have it in October. By the way, don't think there wasn't pro wrestling in October. Phase 1 went to Las Vegas, New Mexico. They put on a banger. They put an absolute banger. I was out of town. I was in Florida, but I saw the pics. Probably 300 people in attendance there. That thing was awesome.
Congratulations to that, by the way. Yeah, it sounded like they had an amazing show.
They got their stuff together. They got their stuff together bad. Like, they're awesome. So we went up to, so there was pro wrestling in in New Mexico in October. That's good. The streak's not broke. But we're going to have to put it together for that 21st show, Sally, and we're excited about it. So get ready for November the 21st. Duke City Championship Wrestling's No Way Around. Primarily, that's talking about Hobo Hank and Baba Thunder, but you get the idea. And we're gonna make it a little bit bigger than we normally have. We're gonna, everyone's kind of got the formula down. We do 8 matches. They're TV, not this time. Like, it's gonna be much more. It's gonna be jam packed. You're gonna leave that inning. You're gonna leave that evening being pro wrestle entertained, and we're so very excited about it. So very excited.
Pro wrestling entertainment. That is actually the thing that's been kind of avoided. 5 years ago, that kind of would have been oxymoronic. Either you're just pro wrestling or you're only sports entertainment. Yeah. We are pushing pro wrestling entertainment. We're actually, we're aware. Some of the stuff is absurd. So we're aware some of the stuff is insane. We're also aware that some of the stuff is beautiful. It's like, we're embracing all of that in which that we can present something beautiful for you. So yeah, come on through, baby. November 21st. That's going to be a thing.
That's a Thursday. It's going to be a big one. Yeah, and we had originally slated to do a different November date. So combining these into one is going to be real special. So, what we're not going to change, though, ticket price. What we're not going to change is ease of access. What we're not going to change is all those little things that we've, kind of branded ourselves to. The idea is you're still going to be able to bring out your family of 4 for a really affordable amount. It's still, you're going to get in the building for $20. You're going to get not just the traditional night we do, but an extended one. if you bring an extra $20, you're gonna have a soda and a hot dog and a heck of a time. So take advantage of that. The bookings are not out yet, but as soon as they were released, you're really gonna like the card. You're really gonna like the lineup. So excited for it. And there you go. There's your big update. Duke City Championship Wrestling, Brute 666, no more. And No Way Around, November the 21st at the Rio Rancho Event Center.
That gives, I think, since we get a little time, that might be giving us an opportunity for some new merch in the horizon.
That's your whole thing.
Ooh.
You're obsessed with it.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. By the way, my first shirt, I am grateful to and for it because it came out better than I was expecting, and I wasn't expecting anything.
People
So
are buying it.
shout out to you, Fred, for that. I'm just saying, man. Like, I appreciate you. I'm giving you your flowers right now. But like, wait to see, man. We got something else coming, baby. We got,
It's so funny. I have a custom one for you that I haven't given it to you yet because I haven't seen you in like a month, which is not how we normally exist.
That is weird, dude. Yeah, that is really weird. I miss you. I miss you.
No, stop with that. I don't have time for that.
I miss you.
You know how little I miss you?
Oh, but how much more I miss you, though. We balance each other.
So here's a fun one for the listener. So friends of the show, friends of pro wrestling, we sit down to do the show today because it's been like 2 weeks because of the way everything is set up as it relates to the radio program and this, that life and the other thing, you being in Portland, me being in Florida, all these different travel schedules. And I sit down and my chair is not right. My chair is not right because it's not like holding me the same. And I had a moment where I go, I'm actually down like 30 pounds. Like, you haven't seen me in so long. It's ridiculous.
You haven't eaten since I've last seen you. I need. That's why we need to be around each other, man.
That's what you need to do. Get it all together.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I went out to Tampa for those NWA TV tapings. You've been in television a long time. Do you feel television movies? I'm not trying to just put you in a pinhole. Do you feel that there's a universal understanding of how a show is run? Do you feel they're all done the same way? Or do you feel like you're learning every single time? Do you feel like every single time you're at a whatever that you're not just learning your role and your part, but you're learning how it's done?
So there's like principal terminology that like transcends anywhere and everywhere, but then there's nuances on different translations, subtleties in which how people, are able to interpret them. So you're doing the same thing, but it's being said a different way sometimes. Or there's a subtle different way that you're playing to the location. Like if you're coming to Florida and it's hot and humid there might be some other different things that they have to do, some types of equipment that they'll have to utilize. So you play to where you're at. One of the most important things that I learned is you have your things that but you have to be willing and ready to be directable still. And just because you know a lot from one area doesn't mean you know a lot from some other area, because there's other things that they'll have over you, and you got to be willing to adjust. You got to be willing to be directed and move along. But I there are things that I have that in my tool belt that I can play in everywhere, but I also play to the house, and play to who the big dog is. And I'm like, is that okay if this happens, or is that okay? And then if not, they'll say, all right, no, we do it this way. All right, cool. Let me learn that way.
Yeah.
And then bum.
Well, that was, I think that's why I asked, because that was part of my situation with going out to the NWA this past weekend, was watching how they do their TV tapings. Because the way we do our TV tapings, it's we take a live show. We take a live show and we cut that thing into television, and we have an idea, and not to pull back, everything, but the idea is 2 matches per show. We kind of have storyline. Well, we absolutely have storylines, and we're telling them, and then it's not necessarily done the other way. When we get back from the break, I'm going to try to smarten you up on what I felt like I learned and how I was impressed with the NWA. You're listening to Going Over right here on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. I, of course, am Fred Slow. Sally Taylor with me on a Saturday morning. Hopefully, if you're tuning in with us on KNML, you just enjoyed the Balloon Fiesta. So we hope you had a blast while you're out there. It's an absolute special, tremendous thing. I went twice this past week. Sally, did you get a chance to get out?
Actually, the first day of Balloon Fiesta, I played with the band out there.
Oh, okay.
So that was really dope. It was the first glow, and it was so beautiful, man. That
I
was
went
oh man.
at the time of recording. I went to the Glow tonight over at the Balloon Fiesta. Very, very good. It's getting better every year. To be that guy. So we go, and I do the show. I do the 2 Men On Monday through Friday here on the Sports Animal. We're broadcasting live from the Balloon Fiesta. We have a bunch of real estate set up. We got the canopy thing. It's the whole deal. So we go and we do the show 4 to 7. It's a blast. Immediately afterwards, we can walk over to the Cumulus has like a VIP exclusive tent thing. You know what I'm talking about? It's pretty nice. I'm going to show you straight. We're real fortunate. So we go over there and the Glow, right? So it goes up and it's the broadcasters whose name escaped me, but they're incredibly talented. So it's the broadcast.
So good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They're wild good.
So good.
They're like, hey, we're gonna do the flicker, we're gonna do the long burn, we're gonna do the all those things, and it's it's the whole thing, and it's brilliant and beautiful, and you love it. And then what they've plussed up on everything is they're like skydivers that have fireworks attached to their feet. There's a drone show. There's fireworks that are as good as any 4th of July celebration you've ever been to. Like the Balloon Fiesta has it figured out, brother.
It is a beautiful thing. I was in the back. Sandia Resort has sponsored the drone show. Yeah. It's one of those things where, all right, I'm out there. I'm so focused on playing the gig, and let's do the thing. Yeah. But then, like when the drone show goes, and I'm like, I'm marking out, bro. I was just sitting back there thinking, like, this is one of the most amazing, beautiful things I've ever seen. Really good, the precision of it, the time it takes for them to put all of that together. It is a massive event, and the level of stress I can only imagine for those who are running that show, that they're carrying that.
I'm going to tell you, I see it from them, and like normally on this program, I'm 100% all the time. You're never going to catch me not being this guy. I'm always supportive. I'm always like, you can shine this in some sort of positive way. I'm always something of that nature. Mm-hmm. When I'm talking about the help at the Balloon Fiesta, these are some short-tempered people. Like they like, and I'm back in the house a lot. With my radio stuff, like I got a pass that lets me go wherever I want. I have the whole thing. You know what I mean? But like parking people will lose their stuff on you. Like any dude you give like a baton to who thinks it's like life or death that they protect this walkway to wherever. Like you
shall not pass.
I dead A had a excuse me. I dead A had an interaction with a guy who is just heated. And I go to the media tent. I got to get a water. I'm going to go back to the broadcast station. He's like, you can't take the water. I go, no, I can. He says, you can't take the water. I said, oh, brother, I'm going to take this bottle of water with me. Like there's a lot of fights to pick. This ain't the one. And he's losing his stuff. He's like, oh, and I'm like, brother, I'm not leaving until you let me apologize for upsetting you. Like, I'm not leaving until you know that it was not my intention to put you in this current state that you are in over this water. And he's like, I can't break the rule. He's going on this thing. I go, you gotta pause with me. You have to look around. You have to look around at these 100,000 people laughing and engaged and loving the moment and see that you are the one who is different. You are the one who is choosing this right now. This is going to all go away if you just stop. And I'm like, why am I talking to an imbecile? Like, why am I like, Like, why can't I not just let this guy live in this existence of turmoil? Because we're at the balloon fiesta. Like, fill yourself with love the way that all these kids and tourists have. Also, I don't know if everyone has to interact with all these people because, you know, if you pay your $15 and kids under 12 are free, like maybe just show up and buy mini donuts and enjoy your thing or whatever. But I screwed up by telling this cat that it's okay to not be mad. Period. He hits me solid. I'm not trying to rant. He hits me with the, "Who do you even work for?" I go, "Who here's talking about jobs?
That doesn't matter, man.
You talk about how upset you are. Like, what are you doing?"
So you almost cut a promo on this dude.
I super cut a promo on him.
Fabulous Freddie fame.
I was so wilded out by it. Also, I'm not the guy. Like, I'm 6.5 foot tall. Like, I walk around with the whitest privilege of any human being on earth. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, you do.
You're gonna tell me where I can't take a bottle of water?
My ancestors did not take over this.
You know what I'm gonna do? The same thing I always do. Whatever I want. It's wild. It's wild that there's literally nothing you can do to stop that. As we record live, Turbo Tony's in the chat with us. He says he's there for all the funnel cake. Here's the thing. State Fair was just in town. State Fair, then the Balloon Fiesta. I mean, that's too much carny food for me. I can't that many days in a row. Can't be done.
Speaking of the State Fair, I had the other workers keep me honest and keep me to task, and I would ask them, did I earn myself a fried Oreo?
But it's like a treat, like you're a puppy?
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like, you can't just go out and get that. Like, you gotta earn that, man. And like, oh, best believe I earned it, and man, I enjoyed it. Even when I went to go play at the Balloon Fiesta, we were playing at the Chasers Lounge.
Nice.
And there was a tent across that had just like, you know, pork chop. That was the greatest pork chop. It was the greatest $50 pork chop I ever had in my life, man.
You did not pay $50 for a pork chop.
It was worth that much. They gave it to me. I sang a song and I dedicated the song to them, and they were like, "Ah, yeah!" And so shout out to Ryan for pork chop on a stick. Hey, still my guy. Still my guy. Like Ryan with an I.
Sounds like that would hit my keto diet, so I don't hate it. Also, that's the deal, right? Like at the Balloon Fiesta, if you like, what is it normally? It's 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's when the business is over there. If you stick around till 10:15 and walk them down Vendor Row, like all that food is $1. They're not trying to let those burritos go to waste. Like they're like mini donuts, and you're like, size or quantity? Because yes, yes, I do have $1. It's crazy that you asked.
There's a lull in the middle of the day between, let's say, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah,
because everyone else has lives, and then they come back and then get ready for the sundown stuff. I'm telling you, I got there around 4 or 5, set up, and we played, and then sundown. But like all I remember was before, during one of our breaks, I was stopped by a pork chop, and they were like, "Hey, you guys sound good." And I'm like, "Hey, if I sing a song for you," it just went straight into it. Me, I'm very proper in the sense of I like to say hello, how you doing? I like to warm up, but I went straight forward, like, "Hey, if I sing a song for you and get the crowd to sing along and like ba ba ba, will you have something for me?" I was like, "Yeah, but we got to hear the crowd." And so we got down, man.
Are there any pork chop songs? Like, I'm going to tell you, I don't think there's probably like a rhythm and blues one. There is a
like blues pork chop song.
There has to be.
There is pork chop blues.
The first thing went to my head was like Kermit singing to Miss Piggy, like Rainbow Connection. Like that was the first thing that went to my head.
I could have done that actually. Yeah.
You do Rainbow Connection in like a karaoke, crowd comes to life. Is
that one? Is that one of the Caucasian anthems?
You've
Because
never
I
done it.
got some. I
Why
got.
are there so many songs about rainbows? It's the best thing ever. And what's
Oh
on
no, man.
the other side? It's the best. Like it's like the most drag A karaoke that you can do. And people are
By
like,
the way,
that slaps.
here's a little fun thing for you. Speaking of this
Okay.
beautiful moment that's being shared, I stopped by one of my friends saying hi to them, and there's karaoke happening.
Okay.
Someone sang Joe Hendry.
Why?
Someone legit for karaoke.
Nobody
Legit.
wants that.
Oh man, there's a few that pop for it. I was one of them, and like, there's Joe Hendry karaoke, bro. It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan,
You
man.
love Joe Henry.
No, I keep saying Joe Hendry because I keep thinking John Hendry. There's
The
another guy,
wrestler.
but Joe
We're talking about
Henry,
the wrestler, the professional
yeah,
wrestler
Joe Henry,
musician. That's Joe.
yeah, Joe. But like, I keep thinking there's another Hendry in my life, but there's karaoke. There's
Unneeded
karaoke.
is what it is.
Oh man, bro,
We were talking
like
about
it's a beautiful thing.
we were talking a little bit about different approaches, and that obviously is one. And we were talking about the approach that Duke City Championship Wrestling does with our TV program, Wrestling at the El Rey, which is now grown a little bit to also the Rio Rancho Event Center, and live event that we turn into television. This is not what the NWA does. They do a TV show. Like they have it down, right? So I think over the course of the weekend, and I did in my head, it was 50 matches. I watched 50 pro wrestling matches over the course of 2 days of TV tapings. Can you imagine?
2 days, 50 matches. That's a tight. That's a tight schedule. They have.
Yeah, like working multiple times, like doing the whole thing, and all put together like a clockwork that was so incredibly impressive. So if it wasn't the broadcasters, or if it wasn't the camera, or if it wasn't Billy Corgan, who owns the NWA, they're directing, there was a sit back and like appreciate kind of thing. And first of all, thank you to they for allowing me to like be so close and to learn. And they did this tremendous thing that we also do with Duke City Championship Wrestling. I do a thing at the beginning of shows, and I got to back up. So their audience is a studio audience, right? So
Yes.
it's not the several hundred or multiple hundred people that we have at a show. It is like 100 people, and they put them in a studio because studios are only so big. You know what I mean? So they put them in a studio, and then they're like, hey, this is coming out of a break. This is just like a studio recorded show. And they get up and they get hyped, and then they get really, really entertained with pro wrestling, which I love. But the studio's not in there for every part that's not, wrestling that needs reaction. Like the way we do it when we cut to, the broadcast booth or the backstage stuff or whatever. It's it's our whole other thing. So with that said, so I'm in there watching, and they start the show when the live audience comes in. The way we do, so I go out. I'm the first guy that goes out with Duke City Championship Wrestling. It's not because anyone wants to see me. No one cares that I'm there. But this is like a, hey, get to your seats. We're about to do the national anthem. This is like a, hey, Fred's out there. We got to hurry up. Like it's okay if we miss Fred, but the show's about to start, right? This is like a thing we've taught the audience. And they had a similar thing, except they really plus one it, where they were like, hey, this is TV. This is how we would love for you to react, for a person you really enjoy. This is how we would love you to react for a person you don't care for very much. This is, knowing that the cameras are going to be here at certain times, please don't flip off the camera. There's all these like, and I'm going, oh, this is the smartest little thing I've ever seen to smarten up this crowd. So I'm definitely going to incorporate it, because I was just a million times over impressed with how they made sure the audience understood. And here's where I felt like an idiot. They made sure the audience understood that the audience is as big of a part of the show as the performers. And I think we're going to have to make a more astute effort to let our audience know, although it's a super smart audience here, but just let them know that their presence is the entirety of the show. It's not just the 6, 8,
Wow.
or 10-minute match. You know, I was like, this is a really smart approach to creating pro wrestling television.
That is actually really, really, really amazing. Very simple, smarten up the crowd, and let them know that you do have a part to play in this if you want to, and here's how you can. That is amazing. That's
Yeah,
very simple,
little
but
thing.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just super little thing. And there was like a really neat, and I'm not trying to give any back of the house to anything, just collaboration between everyone.
Hmm.
Now you're watching guys like work promos with each other. You're watching guys talk about like the approach to the game. And you're like, okay, like it was really knowledgeable. Yeah, I was just super impressed. They did it at a cool PBS studio. Hobo Hank was out there with me, and a thing that I think continues to amaze me, and in radio, I've always been relatively regionally recognizable. I've always been relatively regionally famous, and that's been fine. I've enjoyed it. I've taken advantage of it. Cool. This wrestling thing's like a different beast. Going to Tampa, and I'm not in front of the camera. You know what I mean? I mean, well, broadcast stuff, but like I'm not a performer. But we get out, me and Hobo Hank, to Tampa for the NWA tapings, and there are individuals that just know us. And that's wild to me. You know, it's
Oh,
wild to me. They go,
crap.
yeah, like, oh no, we're familiar with your brand. Like we know the guys you got out there. We know who goes. We know how well they do. And I go, internally, I go, no, this is the kindest thing anyone's ever said. This is, thank you. You know, this is an awesome one. So anyway, so yeah, just kind of a overall altering experience to see that. You know, and I've been so fortunate. You've been around me with this too, with WWE or other outlets, to see how they do it. And there are just multiple ways to skin the pro wrestling cat. Multiple.
Yeah, agreed. Just like I said, like we're all trying to do the same thing. We want to entertain. We want to
Mhm.
provoke thought. We want to provoke emotion, but also there's different ways, different different territories, different locations. You play to the house and different house rules, baby. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it. I'm all about whatever works for them. However, we can utilize that to benefit us.
And
I'm
vice
all
versa.
for that.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, and that's the thing that, you know, Duke City Championship Wrestling has that maybe the NWA doesn't have, which is a really large and engaged live audience. You know, because the TV taping is not that. You know, so there's like definitely value in both of these things, but like how excited I would be to get out to Phoenix and see what some of those guys have going on out there. How excited I would be to get up to Denver and see what some of those guys have going on there. How excited I would be to get out to Salt Lake and see what some of those guys have going on there. Because there's so much talent like working towards the same goal.
Yeah.
Like, and I've not been fortunate enough to be a part of production stuff for phase one here in town. You know, there's us and there's phase one. There's Duke City Championship Wrestling and there's phase one. And they both do really good pro wrestling. Like really good. They're both very different, but they do really good. And I'd love to just be a fly on the wall as they put that stuff together, because art is often in what's that phrase? Intimidate, not intimidated. Imitated.
Yes.
Imitated.
Highest form of flattery and art.
Let me imitate some of it. Like, let me just do it. Like, show me you do really good, and I'll see if I can do it better. That's all Duke City Championship Wrestling is.
Anything we can do, and you can do better, take it. The stage is big enough for all of us, man.
Here's some kind words from the live chat. You guys put on a heck of a show. It's beyond entertainment. It's a huge show, and you guys do way beyond what is expected. Take our whole family, and if the kids can't go, they are mad.
Well, November 21st, bring the whole family, Mitch. Bring the whole family. We got something to brewing for you.
It's the whole thing. November the 21st, that will be incredibly good. And when we get back from the break, I'm going to tell you about a conversation I had that was just kind of a weird eye opener. And we were talking about how in art, the best thing you can do is imitate. And I think the origin story of Duke City Championship Wrestling might not be as well known as I think it is. And I'm going to tell you right now, this whole thing is just a form of imitation. It's 2 men on. No, it's not. It's going over on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Going Over. I'm Fred So. You are Saleh Taylor. We're talking the world of pro wrestling. We're wrapping it up here on a Saturday morning. And I hope very much that you enjoyed the Balloon Fiesta. If this is for any reason you haven't been, if this is you hearing about it for the first time somehow, if you have refused to look up in the morning, go tomorrow. Go the morning of Sunday. These are busy mornings. Go early, be there, do that thing. But this is a destination for Albuquerque. It is the State Fair. It is the Balloon Fiesta. It is the New Mexico Bowl. There are soon Duke City Championship Wrestling. It is a handful of things here in town that you should celebrate, and that is one of them. Of course, everything we talk about as it relates to Duke City Championship Wrestling, I am in the ownership group, and be aware any support to that is support to me financially. So that is a big deal. All right. Saleh.
You were about to talk about a conversation that led to you realizing not a lot of people are willing, smarten up to the true origin.
Yeah, kind of interesting. So I was at the Balloon Fiesta Friday night, and it's the balloon glow. It's the whole thing. And an old producer of mine, his name is Micah, an old producer of mine comes up, and he's been in the corporate world for some 3 years, but, still connected to radio because, we're all addicted to it. And he says to me, "Hey, brother, I heard you're like working with the wrestling." I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit or whatever." And he's like, "Hey, brother, I've never been to a show. I'd love to come to a show." I'm like, "I got you." Like, he's like, "Oh, just like that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "So you can just get me in?" I'm like, "Well, I own it. Like, yes, I can just get you in. Like, it's a very doable one. Like, I got you." He goes, "Okay, cool." And then when he goes and he's eating his dinner or whatever, and he comes back and he's said, this is some minutes later, he goes, "So what's it like take to run a wrestling show?" I go, "Well, it's a little bit." He goes, you just like contract out a company that brings you wrestlers?" I'm like, "No." It's like, I'm like, also, and you go through it, right? There's the TV thing, there's the merchandise thing, there's the sponsor thing, there's the ticket sale thing, there's the venue thing, there's the state accommodations. You go through the whole thing. He goes, "Oh, that's kind of a lot." I go, yeah, it's kind of a lot." He's like, "So you need some help?" Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, "Give me a call. I'm off Monday." Like, "Oh, Indigenous People. That's good. I'm not off Monday. Got to do the show." And you don't really think about it. You're like, in people's heads, you just like, he said to me, "So you just like call a group of guys traveling around the country?" No. He's like, "Do you work with, he goes, "Do you work with the midgets?" I go, "Oh, we reached out a couple times, but they're in high demand." And I'm telling the story. He goes, "Shoot, I'd love to work with them." I go, "Why? Why would you love that?" It's just, people got different ideas, man. So it was kind of a fun one. Or at least an interesting one.
I love like the saying just goes, people don't know what they just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Everything from the outside looking in, like, looks grand, but you don't see the back of the house. But I do love that. Like, it's just another production to knock out, and you can contract out.
There was
That's actually
sweet.
Sweet.
There's just like a Rolodex people. No. Duke City Championship Wrestling and Wrestling at the El Rey is a straight rip of this thing from where I grew up called Wrestling at the Chase. And Wrestling at the Chase was Chase Park Plaza. And Chase Park Plaza was downtown St. Louis. And Wrestling at the Chase ran from like 1960 or maybe a shade before to right before I was born, like 1983. And
1942.
Is that what it is? 42?
When you were born, right before?
No, I was born in 1984. So
close. It's close.
39 years old. So it was Wrestling at the Chase was on KPLR TV, which was like similar to what we do with Comcast 26. And they had a partnership with the National Wrestling Alliance. And it was the brainchild of this cat, Sam Moonchick, and president of the St. Louis Wrestling Club. The whole thing, he had the Chase Park Plaza Hotel. And then what they would do is they would put on monthly Thursday night shows, and then they would record those shows into multiple segments to be released weekly. And it was 10 a.m. on Saturdays, right? Well, that's the exact same formula we're doing. Like it's the exact same whatever. And they would draw 1,000 people ish. You know what I mean? And I guess if they went for 24 years, that's probably around 1,000 episodes too. You know, and when by the time I was born and living my life after this thing had ended, I'm only watching reruns on in the mornings. Like they ran this thing for years after.
Wow.
And it was and it was I mean some of the biggest names you've ever.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was Ric Flair and Harley Race and Cowboy Bob Orton and Dick the Bruiser and Bruiser Brody and Gene Kaninsky and Lou Thez and Dory Funk and Ted DiBiase. It's all these guys, right? And those guys went on to have what? The biggest careers of all time. And that is, at least in my humble opinion, that's exactly what Duke City Championship Wrestling is going to be. You know, it's all these guys starting out or doing this territory stuff, and they go and like your cousin Jacob Fatu. Also, Journey Fatu broke the internet the other day. We haven't talked about this yet on the show. We can do that in a moment.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about this. Oh,
but it was just a legacy of all of that. Also, NWA took their anniversary show back there, 73 in St. Louis, and
73,
and that was wildly incredible. Nick Aldis, Trevor Murdoch. They did the 2 nights of TV tapings like they always do. Just super cool, super fun. So that's what, all Duke City Championship Wrestling is a complete rip of wrestling at the Chase, which I wasn't alive to see live. I only saw replays on Saturday morning television.
Even though I was born in 1942. But like it's it's a concept and it's a recurring theme. If there's something that's working well, why not utilize that to your advantage? And like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Multiply it. And put your spin on it. That's show business. Literally, that is show business. Something that's working. Find a different way to make it work and let it work for you.
We're close to the end of it, but the Journey Fatu story real quick. The day that we recorded that day. We recorded, I think, our last episode. And what it was, hey, Journey Fatu's missing. No one can find him. This was it Juicy? Is that who started the whole thing? This whole thing goes on the internet and like mainstream publications pick it up. Like television is running stuff like local, like Oakland, Sacramento. They're like, he's missed. And me and you were talking, we're going, this is
and my favorite part was like families asking for people to help out. I'm like, I don't. He's literally right before that story broke, his Facebook, he just posted 2 more photos, 2 more videos and clips. I'm like, how? What? And it's so like, oh yeah, I'm stupid. I'm gonna just text him. Like, bro, you're right. Are you? my dumb self. I literally texted him. Are you missing? And he's like, nah, man, some guy just got worked.
Yeah. It was one of those stupid wrestling, like internet reporting things. And they're like, and then and you know how that family is, the Fatu and Anawai, and they're all, you're in it. Like, it's the most. And then and people reach out. They're like, Journey, right? I'm like, you it's a stunt. You're getting worked. Like,
we all, oh man, everyone got worked.
Super worked.
And it was beautiful.
And you know who gets super worked are the people that think they won't. Like, that's the best part.
That's my favorite ones.
My favorite one. You know what happened to me at WrestleMania this year? I don't think I've talked about this on air because it's stupid. I'm at WrestleMania, and if you remember, AEW was doing some angle with MJF, Maxwell Freeman. So they were doing an angle where his contract was up the week before WrestleMania or something, and it was so I'm standing in media line at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble is the worst. It's the worst. If WWE offers me press boxes or they offer me seats, I'm gonna take seats every time. Like, wrestling media is infuriating to me. Someone like, and all these cats are going. I'm gonna try to get it. I'm gonna paraphrase. I'm gonna get close. Hey, I know for a fact that MJF's coming out here tonight. He yeah, he wasn't. I know. I got somebody told me. No, you don't. You're just lying. Like you're a liar, and you're presenting it as fact. That's weird. That's weird that that's a thing you are choosing to do. It's not even circumstance. Like you're choosing to do this. You're weird.
But little did they know, we knew that Jacob was actually back there. He just signed, and he
Yeah.
was chilling with family, and like you had a chance to go see him, but like family stuff. But I'm like, that's the bigger story, guys. Like, y'all don't know. We're like, all right, but it's I'm team I'm still a bit team traditional media in the sense of you got to do 2 confirmed sources before you run a story, before you run a rumor.
They go with 0. They just make it up.
Yeah,
it'd be cool. And then that's one too, right? Because like everyone thinks they're breaking news now, and you're never breaking news. You're just grabbing content for your talking head show. Like, I love this podcast. This thing is fun. This is how I stay connected with the Duke City Championship Wrestling audience. Like, if it wasn't a radio show, if it wasn't heard terrestrially on the Sports Animal 95.9 FM and AM 610, if it wasn't a Cumulus property, the biggest radio company in the country, if it wasn't a CBS Sports affiliate, this thing's not for me. The world needs another pro wrestling podcast that, like, I need a hole in my head. Like the way that Albuquerque needs another brewery. You know how many wrestling radio shows there are, though? Are we sitting here one of one?
Come on, baby.
Special, unique, fun.
I love the flex. I love the flex, man.
No,
Solid Taylor, CBS Sports. I love it.
You see, hey, my name is Fred Slow with wrestlers south of the equator who have parents born in the United States.com. You're like, what? What is the name of your podcast? That is
.gov.
weird. Yeah.
Like federal?
Lads who love ladies who wrestle, but not in a weird way.com. Like, no, the name of your podcast is weird. And they don't even buy their website. So they do like, yeah, you can listen to my show, man. It's at podbean.com/ You're like, what? I have to remember what?
It's changed. It was originally, but I had to change the domain.
Yeah. Me and my old partner, we fell apart, but I kept those episodes, because we one time interviewed a guy that did extra work. Like, okay. Like, you know what this show is not with me and Saleh? Super guest heavy. His personality's right here. What do you do, guest? I mean, what are you going to... Hey, welcome to the show. What's it like to wrestle in front of 30 people? What's it like to wrestle in front of 30,000? That's the same thing.
I can answer one of those questions.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it.
You know my favorite question to ask pro wrestler, and I know we're up against it. My favorite question, I do this all the time when I meet a pro wrestler. Like, find out whatever part of the country they're from, and then ask them about their regional gas station.
Ooh.
Like, they love it. They're like, you know about Casey's? You know about Casey's General Store? Yeah, I do.
That's a good way to get pop. I do the whole talk to me about things you want to talk about, and I find it as I'm conversing with them before we have our interview.
Yeah,
like I had Sam Jones. Was it Flash? Flash Gordon.
I'm very familiar.
And I got him talking about ducks for 30 minutes. He popped. And he's like, oh, by the way, I love this kind of blah, blah, blah. And it was like, people were like, oh, what was your favorite scene? Like, oh, come on, guys.
Solly, we're at the end of it. You're very good at this. Thank you for doing this with me. Final words, brother?
November 21st,
Rio
Rancho Event Center.
Yep.
We coming for you.
Yep. Who's we? We're just going to be there. Come hang out. But
me coming for you. Turn that W upside down. Me coming for you. I think. I don't know.
No way around. November the 21st, Sally Taylor. Thank you so very much. Tickets available at dccwtickets.com for Sally Taylor, for myself, Fritz Lowe. Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.